You're going to die in 47 days. Not in battle, not surrounded by enemies, axe in hand, screaming your way into Valhalla like the songs promised. No. You're going to die in a ditch on a foreign shore, shaking with fever, trying to remember your mother's face and failing. The last thing you'll see is a gray sky that looks nothing like home. The last thing you'll feel is cold. The last thing you'll think is that you never actually killed anyone. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back. Back to when you were still someone's son. Still a name that mattered to at least one person. Back to when 47 days felt like a lifetime. You're 15, maybe 16. You stopped counting winters after the last famine. Your arms are thin, your ribs visible. Your value to the family farm calculated in how many calories you consume versus produce. This math does not favor you. Your father has 3 sons. You are the middle one, too young to be useful, too old to be cute, too alive to be convenient. When the Jarl's men arrive, your father does something with his hands. A quick count, grain, mouths, days until spring, the arithmetic of survival. He doesn't look at you when he points. You're not conscripted. That word implies paperwork, process, dignity. You're subtracted. One variable removed from an equation that wasn't balancing. Your mother doesn't cry. She already grieved you weeks ago when she started splitting your dinner portions between your brothers. This is just the burial. The walk to the ship takes 4 hours. 30 men who smell like old leather and stale mead. They don't explain anything because you're not worth the syllables. You're cargo that breathes. Inventory that eats. The Longship is smaller than you imagined. In the stories, these vessels are dragons slicing through waves, crewed by giants. In reality, it's a wooden coffin with rowing seats, and the men packed inside are not giants. They're farmers like you, just older, meaner, more broken. Someone hands you an oar. This is your orientation, your training program, your employee handbook. Row or drown. The first 3 days, you row until your hands blister. Then you row until the blisters burst. Then you row until you can't feel your hands at all, which turns out to be a blessing. The North Sea doesn't care about your suffering. It sprays freezing water with the precision of a weapon, targeting the exact gaps in your clothing that you didn't know existed. Sleep happens in 2-hour shifts, wedged between men who hate you for existing. Not personally, they'd hate anyone in your position. You're new, which means weak. Weak means liability. Liability means extra work for everyone else when you inevitably die and someone has to take your rowing shift. The veterans have a game. They pile things on you: rope, shields, water skins, to see how much weight you'll carry before collapsing. The answer keeps surprising everyone, including you. Turns out the human body can endure almost anything when the alternative is being thrown into water cold enough to stop your heart in minutes. You learn the hierarchy quickly. The Jarl's son eats first, then the experienced raiders, then the men who've survived at least one voyage, then the thralls, then you. By the time food reaches your level, you're fighting over scraps that the ship's rats rejected. This is fine. You've been training for this your whole life. Famine is an old friend. Day 12. You see land. England looks exactly like home: green hills, gray sky, smoke rising from villages. This feels like a cosmic joke. You've rowed through frozen hell for almost 2 weeks, and the destination is just Norway with different accents. The gods are comedians, and you're the punchline. Someone hands you a spear. It's heavier than you expected. Everything here is heavier than you expected. Hold the left. A man grunts at you. Then he's gone. You don't know what the left is. You don't know what holding it involves. You plant your feet and grip your spear and try not to think about the fact that you've never actually hit anyone with anything harder than an argument. The raid begins. Here's what the sagas don't tell you about Viking combat. It's fast, loud, and confusing. People run, people scream, smoke fills everything. You can't tell who's winning because you can't tell who's fighting. Someone sprints at you, local, defender, you can't really see, and you freeze. Not strategically, not tactically. You just stop working. Your arms lock, your legs root. Someone else cuts them down. The someone else doesn't look at you, doesn't acknowledge what almost happened. Just moves on to the next target like you're a tree he walked around. The fighting ends eventually. Possibly 20 minutes. Possibly 3 hours. Time becomes liquid when you're trying not to die. You killed no one, saved no one, contributed nothing. And here's the thing that breaks something inside you. Nobody noticed. Nobody cared. Your complete failure to function as a warrior didn't matter because you were never supposed to function as a warrior. You were supposed to stand in a spot and look like a number, fill a position, be a body that the enemy had to account for. You could have been a scarecrow with a spear, and the tactical outcome would have been identical. That night, the men feast on stolen food in a stolen building. They speak names of the dead, 7 men, good men, apparently, men who fought, who mattered. Your name doesn't come up because you're still alive. This should feel like victory. It feels like nothing. A great vast nothing that settles into your chest and makes a home there. The loot gets divided. Your share, for hours of carrying heavy things through mud and blood, is continued survival. The math checks out. You contributed nothing, you get nothing. The system works exactly as designed. This is what passes for fairness in the raid economy. Second voyage. You're a veteran now. This means you eat slightly earlier and carry slightly less. It doesn't mean anyone respects you. It means you've survived long enough to become furniture, background noise in someone else's adventure. The water on this trip tastes wrong. You mention this to no one because complaining gets you extra rowing shifts. You drink it anyway. You eat the oysters that smell like regret. Protein is protein. Your standards died somewhere around day 4. Day 41. Your stomach declares war. It starts as discomfort, then cramps, then something much worse that you refuse to name because naming it makes it real. By day 43, you can't keep food down. By day 44, you can't stand. The world tilts every time you move, and your skin feels like it's burning from the inside. The men around you maintain distance. Sickness spreads. Sick men slow ships. Slow ships miss opportunities. You understand the calculation? You've been on the other side of it. When someone else was the variable being subtracted. Day 46. They leave you on the beach. Not cruelly, practically. You can't row. You can't walk. You can't contribute to whatever happens next. A man drops a water skin near your head. Another leaves some dried fish. These are kindnesses. The most kindness you'll ever receive from these strangers you've bled beside. The ship leaves without ceremony. No one waves, no one looks back. Why would they? You're a line item on an expense report, and you've just been written off. Day 47. The beach is cold. You crawl to what might be a ditch, or a depression, or just a place where the wind hurts slightly less. The fever makes everything bright and strange. Faces swim in your vision, your mother, your brothers, your father doing mathematics on his fingers. You try to remember what your mother looked like when she smiled. Before the famines, before the calculations, you can't. The image keeps sliding away, replaced by cold and sky and the growing understanding that this is it. This is all of it. You're 16 years old. You've sailed across an ocean. You've witnessed death. You've stood frozen while better men fought around you. And now you're dying alone in a ditch on foreign soil, killed not by sword or axe or glorious combat, but by a bad oyster and contaminated water. No saga will mention you. No stone will carry your name. In 50 years, no one alive will know you existed. Back home, your father's farm will survive the winter. There's one less mouth now. The equation finally balances. Your mother might think of you sometimes, when the light hits a certain way or a ship passes on the horizon. But thoughts fade. Grief fades. Everything fades. Spring will come. Grass will grow over this ditch. Your bones will become part of foreign soil, indistinguishable from the farmers and defenders who died around you. Somewhere, centuries from now, people will watch television shows about Vikings. They'll see handsome men with perfect hair and choreographed battles. They'll think it looks exciting, adventurous, glorious. They won't think about you, but you were there. You were the rounding error, the statistical noise, the boy who was subtracted from a food equation and fed into a machine that turned farmers into corpses. This was your legend. This was your saga. And it sucked.